In this video, you will get complete roadmap from what is Flutter to how testing works in Flutter, so stay tuned for that. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Mohammed. I am Flutter developer for more than 1.5 years and created many successful apps. Before starting this video, one important notice. Every link I have mentioned in this video are in description. I am telling you because you will need them. Now let's jump into the video. Now first we will learn what is Flutter and how is it different. In this case, after this video you should watch this video from description. In this video you will get complete idea that what is Flutter and how it works. This video is from official Flutter team. Flutter is relatively straightforward to set up. Depending on what OS you are using, you can check out the steps in this official Flutter documentation. Link is in the description, so check that out. Flutter uses Dart language to build apps. Flutter and Chrome use the same rendering engine, Skia. Instead of interacting with native APIs, it controls every pixel on the screen, which gives it much necessary freedom from the legacy baggage as well as performance it has. Do the Flutter doc a read, but I found this to be good at explaining Dart, so check that out. Now you know what is Dart, you should learn Dart for that. Check out the official documentation of Dart language tour and their language samples. Once you have an overview, head over to this website and do all the examples. After you are done with Dart by example, edit your code on Dartpad for starter and get a better grip. I am sure you will be up and running in no time, but be patient. Now that you are familiar with Dart, finally it's time to move on to Flutter. Create an application and run it. And try to understand folder structure and understand which files are meant for which purpose. Remember, everything is a widget in Flutter. When you read this documentation, you will get a fair idea of what widgets are. Widgets come in two flavors, stateless and stateful. Stateless widgets are those whose state doesn't change, like a text or an image. As the name states, it doesn't change its state when an action is performed on a screen. When a widget needs to hold some states like current page in a current page view or a currently selected tab in a bottom navigation bar, stateful widgets are the right choice to make. Stateful widget can hold the current state of an widget instead of widget build method. A stateful widget has a state build method which calls each time we explicitly call set state. As we discussed earlier, everything is a widget in Flutter, including layout models. Widgets such as row, columns, grid are layout widgets, which we don't see on screen, that help other visible widgets to arrange, constrain and align. Check out the documentation of layout in Flutter from description. Flutter comes with a suite of powerful basic widgets such as text, column, row, stack, container. The basic widgets are help you to create custom views as you want. If your app follows material design guideline, Flutter has load to cover by default. Flutter provides several widgets that support material design. It includes widgets such as material app bar, scaffold and many more. Flutter also includes iOS-centric Cupertino component package. It covers widgets such as Cupertino app, Cupertino navigation bar and many more. So far we have seen widgets that display information on screen or arrange other widgets. For real app, it is equally essential to make the app interactive and get users' input in various forms like gesture, tabs. To achieve this, Flutter has number of stateful widgets such as checkbox, radio, slider, inkwell, form and text field, etc. These widgets are capable of enough to maintain their states. For example, text while entering in text field, whether a checklist is checked or not. Check out documentation on adding interactivity to your Flutter application. As you have reached here, you should be clear with what is widget and types of widget. Now you must be curious about what all widgets available in Flutter. So in the description there is link of widget catalog. Check out all widgets that make Flutter development relaxed and fun. And here we go. It is time to learn Flutter for real apps. I mean apps that have multiple screens, images, network dependency and all. Now here are some simple looking examples like navigation rover, snack bar, custom fonts, a text based on orientation and multiple tabs. Check out complete guide and documentation of these examples in cookbook. Flutter has a form widget that helps to build a form that efficiently manages the essential requirement of form, for example, state of form, validation, and so on and so forth. Check out complete guide in documentation of form in cookbook. To get the user inputs and some time to make the app super interactive, we maximize the use of gestures. Flutter has pre-built widgets to cover this, for example, adding material ripple effect, handling taps, swipe to dismiss. Check out the complete guide in documentation of gestures in cookbook. To make a beautiful and engaging, we use images. Flutter provides an image widget to display an image in the Flutter app from various sources like display images from network, display image with placeholder and fade in animation, display cached network image. For all this, check out the complete guide in documentation of images in cookbook. Most app contains multiple screens to display data in very well organized manner. In a Flutter, we can do navigation related operations with Navigator. For using Navigator, check out the complete guide and documentation of navigation in cookbook. Most apps we come across nowadays are generally connected with third-party server and makes requests to server to fetch or post data. For that, you will need to understand how to use HTTP package. For using HTTP package, check out the complete guide and documentation of navigation in cookbook. Sometimes we need to store data in local memory to be quickly available whenever we need. For storing data locally, we need to understand how SQLite and shared preferences work. Check out the complete guide and documentation of navigation in cookbook. We use so many packages in app. It is a great way to work collectively and share code across apps without having to develop everything from scratch. You can find all the useful packages from pub.dev. With multiple packages, you might face some issues like conflict in version resolving. You can find all the best practices linked in the description to be followed while using packages. With all these, you have now completed Flutter Cookbook. In typical applications, it is common use case that change made in point A reflects some changes in point B, that is called state management. It can be also understood by this illustration. Flutter has multiple approaches that can efficiently manage the state of app. Based on project size, we can decide the appropriate techniques. There are few possible techniques for state management like set state, inherited widget, provided package, and block pattern. These are some state management techniques, but I personally use riverpod. You don't necessarily need to use riverpod as a beginner, but you can start with set state. The goal of unit test is to test particular code with mock dependencies. Works as expected in different scenarios. A unit test is very fast and don't require an actual device to execute. While doing unit test, any dependent classes should be injectable so that we can inject mock implementation of dependency and verify if everything working as expected. Flutter has Mockito framework that helps to create a mock implementation. Widget testing is a UI testing technique. The goal of widget testing is to test if particular widget UI looks as expected and it's interactive. Widget testing doesn't require a physical device. We can also test the properties of widget like color, size, font family, and many more. We can also perform user events like tap, gesture, text entering, and many more. Integration testing works in a pair. The goal is to test how multiple units work together. Integration testing happens on real device or emulator. You can find a series of user interaction and events and expected UI rendering or unit code to be executed properly. Check out the testing and Flutter documentation for more info. So this was complete roadmap for learning Flutter. Now if you have completed this roadmap, you will need to develop apps faster, and for that you will need to use tools. If you are interested in these tools, you should watch this video. In this video I have talked about all the tools. I hope you like this video. If you did, give thumbs up, comment if you have any doubt, and thanks for watching.